Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That's theme music means it's time for our weekly conversation with Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints.org. All things Illinois policy related. Before we get to Ted, Nancy Gianni is the founder and chief belief officer.
What is that? I've never heard that before.
It's a fun spin on CEO.
Okay.
I think you can piece it together. She's the founder and chief belief officer at Gigi's Playhouse. Belief in the clients that she serves, the kids that she serves. Tiffany Barfield is the chairwoman of the National Down Syndrome Society. They co-authored an op-ed posted over at johncastnews.com. When adults play politics, children lose. Talking about the tax credit scholarship program that is on the chopping block this week.
Unbelievable.
As legislative leaders and the governor consider the fate of the Invest in Kids Act, they need to know that parents all over the state are nervously waiting and watching to see who will stand up for students, especially the most vulnerable among them. Just ask the parents of children with special needs, special learning needs like autism, Down syndrome, learning disorders, who face significant challenges when it comes to accessing quality education for their children. Often they are left behind, or they are left with limited, inflexible, and substandard public school options that don't allow these children to become all they are meant to be. When parents of financial means encounter this service failure in public schools, they pack up and move to another better public school district, or pay for tuition in a private school willing to serve the unique needs of kids. But not every parent has that privilege. That's why the Invest in Kids Act has been a game changer. In 2017, this groundbreaking legislation was created to support low-income parents who struggle to afford private school for their children. Over the years, the program has made a significant impact, awarding more than 40,000 scholarships, totaling more than $330 million. What is lesser known is that 1 in 9 children who receive a tax credit scholarship has a unique ability. We believe that children with special needs only get one chance at a quality education. It is alarming and unacceptable that Governor Pritzker, Speaker Chris Welch, and Senate President Don Harmon would even consider terminating this program. It would immediately push thousands of children with special needs out of the very schools where they are now thriving. Either they will listen and stand up for children with unique abilities, or they won't. What do you think they'll do? Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints.org. Thanks, Ted.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm pretty skeptical. I do like the angle that the couple there take. It's easiest to understand school choice when you think about kids with special needs, because they truly do need individualized learning, right? They don't learn like everybody else. Each one of them are different, and that's kind of the value of school choice. And when you take it further to normal kids, every kid is different. Every kid learns differently. So having school choice and letting parents and the kids find the best school for their needs is key, and it's obvious. And everybody, polls across the country in Illinois show that more and more people want it, including the minorities who are stuck in these broken, failing schools. So it's sad, but I'm skeptical, Dan. A couple weeks ago we wrote that piece that would become the first state to kill a school choice program if Governor Pritzker doesn't renew it, and that right there should be a damning thing to scare them into passing it. But this is Illinois, so I don't think so.
And what's Governor Pritzker's plausible deniability going to be?
Oh, he'll blame the legislature. He says, "Look, I can't do something if the legislature doesn't send it to me and extend this, or if they don't put it in the budget bill," which is what everybody's counting on. That through the horse trading that goes on during the budget process, that somehow that school choice bill, the Invest in Kids Act, is extended in there somewhere, he'll just say, look, it wasn't in the thing. How can I sign it? It's not my fault. Of course, he should be on the bully pulpit pushing for it if he were really a person caring about low-income, working-class kids. He would fight to get it into the budget.
How's this timing? Today, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul is expected to update his investigation into sex abuse allegations in the Catholic Church. His office will be providing a significant update on the investigation. Gosh, the timing of that with the tax credit scholarships, of which Catholic schools are a beneficiary because parents with resources want to send their kids to the Catholic schools that do a good job of educating children, although those are fewer and fewer these days in Illinois as well, but I digress. That timing is not accidental. This is a way to provide additional political cover to either kill this thing straight away or let it die a slow and anonymous death by saying we'll deal with it in veto session. Don't you think?
Yeah, right. I think the plan would be something like this. Gosh, we need money for our public schools, or we're deeply underfunded, which is one of the biggest lies propagated in Illinois. That we need much more money for schools. And they'll say we can't allow it to go into the scholarship program, which then is used for private schools. So they'll go with that, but now they'll add this and say, look, the Catholic Church has proven, over time it failed. But I'll tell you what's fascinating about that whole thing is, that the Catholic scandal was long ago. It was huge, it was massive, it was problematic. But from all my understanding, we're going to do some more research into this. They've really cleaned up their act. Where the act is not clean is Chicago public schools.
Right.
And, that's where nobody's focused on that. We've had massive sexual scandals there.
No.
This has been written about, and nobody seems to care about that scandal.
There's 500 plus sexual misconduct complaints in 2023, including a middle school teacher who ended up in a student's bedroom. And then one took their list goes on, and they took them to plays and then drove them home in the car. I mean, these are rules and boundaries you cannot cross. That you're like you can't text, and they're sexting photos and all that. And Kwame's not investigating that. Instead, he's investigating the Catholic schools.
Yeah, this is all a political hit job, and this is not in any way to minimize the sex abuse scandal within the church. It was at the hands of leftist clergy who turned a blind eye to sexual predators, and that cast proper shame on the church. But there have been all sorts of changes made such that the incidence of that sort of behavior is de minimis now in the church, in the diocese around the country. And yet it's still politically useful because of the media attention and the branding of the church that the left did. Again, self-inflicted wound by the church. And this is a way to deflect, not only to deflect attention away from what's happening in the public schools, where the rules are very different. We talked about this legislation that is opposed by the majority in the General Assembly that would prohibit teachers from having sex with special needs children over the age of 17. Right?
That
right?
law couldn't get through.
It could not get through.
You would think that'd be a slam dunk, right? Let's make sure. Who are the most vulnerable? Right? Those would be the special education, the special needs kids. They'd be most vulnerable, and they couldn't pass a law. Nobody cared.
Right. So it's not only to deflect attention away from that and their grotesqueness when it comes to legislation like was just mentioned, but then it's also to put an exclamation point on it, to fire a kill shot into the tax credit scholarship program and provide the political cover to make it comfortable for enough Democrats to say, okay, I'm off.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help that you don't have the Republicans, I guess, and Democrats. You would expect anybody who's for this, and there should be a lot of Democrats for it too. But I think, school choice is clearly I would think a Republican platform. One of the litmus issues. But you don't hear them screaming and jumping up and down. So there's surprisingly, and I say surprisingly, there's not enough leaders who make this a hallmark issue for them. Where are they?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did my rant earlier in the show on that, so I'll leave it there. I wanted to pick up on something that you heard Mike Scott talking about in his newscast, which is this legislation that would allow residents to only file suits challenging the constitutionality of state laws in Cook or Sangamon County, Chicago or Springfield. Boy,
Democratic
nothing,
juggernauts.
nothing like rigging the court system. So I guess the point is that anything the Democrats do, by definition, passes constitutional muster going forward. Because what's the point of challenging a Democrat action in Cook County or Sangamon County?
Well, yeah, I missed that. So, yeah, I mean, good question, right?
Yeah, this is legislation that was moved by Don Harmon to protect the political class. How else do you read that? You can only, I mean, you can, and if you want to challenge the constitutionality of it when Governor Pritzker signs it, then you have to challenge the constitutionality of the legislation that allows you to challenge the constitutionality. You have to do that in Chicago or Springfield as well. Good luck with that.
Well, yeah,
why not just get rid of the courts? Oh, I know why. You need, at least you need the trial lawyers. The trial lawyers need to have some place to practice, in the Metro East or Cook County to make their hundreds of millions on slip and falls. I got it. That's why we need the courts still.
I mean, it's not surprising though. Like if you look at all the over time that the laws, they continue to provide more and more protections for the governing class, the political class, the whatever you call it, the public sector class. So right, you have the pension protection. Then you get Amendment 1. Now why not protect them against lawsuits? And then you can do whatever you want.
Anything else we should know? I mean, about the latest phony baloney budget? Any different than the phony baloney budgets that the political class in Springfield has passed for the past 2.5 decades? Anything new?
Yeah, no. I mean, this is what's funny. This is what gets so boring about Illinois, right? It's the same story every time. Nobody knows anything. I mean, if the people weren't reading the news, the Democrats, a lot of the Democrats, or rank and file Democrats, are laughing that they too haven't seen any of the budget. They're left out of the negotiations. So you've got the Republicans, the small minority Republicans who have no idea what's going on. You got the majority of the Democrats who control the place who have no idea, and then just a few at the top who are negotiating everything, and they'll dump a $1,000+ bill on everybody. We'll all pretend like we read it in one day, and we'll try to go through it as fast as we can, but we'll all be left scrambling and knowing that it's the same old thing. Pensions will be underfunded. There'll be a bunch of gimmicks in there. Nobody will really understand what's going on. Well, the big deal, of course, is that Medicaid spend for the illegal immigrants. That's kind of holding them up a little bit because the number's gotten so big that I think people are scared to touch it. It's over $1 billion now, Medicaid, and then they're trying to even include more younger illegal immigrants in Medicaid. And it's over $1 billion. Here we are. We can't take care of our own people. We can't take care of our own crises. And here we are adding, billions of dollars for people who are just flooding the state recently.
All right. Harumph, 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 harumph. Everybody say harumph and let's move on. I got you. Very good. Ted Dabrowski, president, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you get aggravated and the news has you down, when the reality of Americanism being subverted by traitors, enemies, both foreign and domestic, get to you, I go to 120 Life. Because 120 Life has found the key naturally to controlling your blood pressure. They're a Chicago-based company, and they're doing something about Big Pharma having a monopoly on blood pressure. You see, naturally, you can control your blood pressure. 120 Life has made the best natural ingredients available to you in one drink. Pomegranate, tart cherries, cranberries, hibiscus, beetroot, and magnesium. All a natural way to lower your blood pressure. That's what's nice about it. It comes in an 8-ounce bottle. You can mix and match smoothies, out of the bottle, whatever you prefer. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. You can order a 2-week trial pack. Using promo code Liberty, you save 15%